Hi, everybody. Welcome to class. Today, we're going to talk about approaches. I want to find where you guys left off, so let's go in order. Have you guys already talked about briefing an approach plate? Yes? Okay, great. All right, so I will move past this information. Why don't we do some quizzing? Just to see. All right, that's done. We'll go back to this. So let's do. All right, so we're just gonna talk about an approach plate here. Practice briefing one. Naka, do you want to brief this approach plate?
Sure. This is approach plate for Santa Ana, California. The available approved systems in the top right corner. So the airport is John Wayne, Orange County, California. That's effective. It was effective at June 12th. It is ILS, or localized approach, runway 20 right. ATIS is 12610. So the approach is 121.3 per percent region. I don't think we go over all this. So, localizer frequency is 1175. Final approach course since the box 96. And lemon, I think that's the final approach fix. Now we got the initial approach fix. Right. Two.
Do you want me to scroll down? Or do you want me to zoom in?
I should pick up on that. Which one is this?
This is the ILS for John Wayne 20 right. No, but you're doing a good job covering all the important information. So you can just continue on from there when you have it open.
Moving on to the ILS decision altitude, it is 255 feet. MSL, ceases to AGM. Airport elevation is 56 feet. Touchdown elevation, which is 2 feet below that. Then we have our minimum safe altitudes, reference to Seal Beach. Altitude is set in inches. Transition level for flight is flight level 180. Transition altitude is that's next to 18,000 feet. And so, and we have so
Keep getting quieter. Keep going. You get a little louder. It's okay. I'm just
doing
trying to.
advisories, circling on 20 left, are authorized at night. And I forgot what GSI stands for.
Say that one more time. You forgot to what?
I forgot what Victor Golf Sierra India stands for, but in ILS glide path, it's not what's the. I think that's just our visual glide slope indication, right?
Wait, say that one more time.
I'm in the remarks section.
Right.
It says 1, circling runway, 20 left, not authorized at night. 2, that's visual glide slope indication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, visual glide slope indication angles 3 degrees. And then pilot control mechanism is on frequency 26.8. I don't know what else you'd like to know. I mean, I'm not good at briefing.
No, I think actually you did a good job. That was pretty efficient. You were able to go through what we were doing today, where to find it, and then you even went all the way down to the DA for today. So that's good. And then you brought it back up to the missed approach procedure. That's all you really need to do when briefing an approach. So I thought that was excellent. Now I do have some questions. That's why we brought this up. I believe all of you can brief an approach, but when you have an approach plate like this, it can get a bit confusing because there's so much going on. What are these? No, call it.
Radials in the VR.
What are they called? So if you don't know, does
It's
Andrew
supposed
do?
to be like the DME for the fixes.
Is it an arc?
Oh.
Naka? It's okay, that's why we're doing it. Have you guys ever heard of a feeder route?
No.
Okay, so you'll see this on approach charts. They are purposed to take you from a fix like Seal Beach VOR, which, if you've ever flown a cross country to Santa Ana, I know both of you have, the fix at which Victor Airways from Gillespie takes you to prior to starting the approach is Seal Beach VOR. So they want to make sure that you are going to stay on route and not go off route in order to start the approach. Because what happens if you have lost comms? They want to make sure that when you are going from one en-route segment to the approach and land, you are still on some type of published FAA procedure, which they here are calling a feeder route to the initial approach fix, to Snake, Hookem, Lemon. So this also helps you because if you don't have GPS, what can you do to identify that you are at Snake? You don't have GPS.
Use the VOR.
Exactly. So from the VOR, if you're coming in on the approach and you plug in the VOR radial, what radial?
060.
And the CDI centers, okay, I'm at Snake. And at Snake, I can now start my descent as soon as I pass Snake down to 2,800, right? Now, if instead you're tracking the ILS, you'll have vertical and lateral guidance. So you will start using that vertical and lateral guidance anytime after Lemon.
Wait, so all those like feeder route, which is like the fixes, is that for like if you did the localizer?
No. So those are for both. Excuse me. These are still going to be appropriate for both. Until you're at Lemon at 2,200, then you can say my glide slope is alive. My localizer is identified. I'm going to follow that guidance down as a precision approach into sunrise.
So before this, would you not necessarily have lateral guidance?
So a localizer is going to behave in the way that you would, because they need to make sure that you are able to follow from the initial approach fix all the way down to descent and land. What you might not have, and what you technically cannot legally follow until you have passed your 2,200 altitude at the final approach fix, is your vertical guidance.
Okay, so you would use the localizers to stay from side to side, and then like tune in the different radials. Then like when you pass it, like that's how you know. Or now
Exactly. So you could do that as if you would have two navs, right? Nav 1 and nav 2. And nav 1, you would put in 111.75. And you'd be tracking lateral guidance for localizer. And the specific localizer lateral guidance is pretty interesting. It can go a pretty far ways out. But the point is that lateral guidance is going to take you to the altitude at which the vertical guidance will come in. Here it is. 10 nautical miles, 35 degrees, and then 18 nautical miles, 10 degrees. So that's 28 nautical miles per localizer, which is pretty crazy. So I'm sure you guys have seen this. If not, it is in the AIM. If this is the airport, the localizer will stand out. This is 10 nautical miles. And then 35 degrees on each side. And then this is an additional 18 nautical miles degrees. That's 28 plus 18. And like 10 degrees each side. Wow. Right. That's how a localizer behaves if you've never seen that before. So you will be at your initial approach fix somewhere in here. It was the localizer signal. Glide slope signal, however, will come. You can start following it as approved vertical guidance at your final approach altitude of 200. Any questions on that?
Does the sling have a system that shows you your glide slope angle inside? On the
Glide slope.
50,
Meaning how?
like your 3 degree, your 3.2 degrees, does it show that in the sling? Because let's say you're on the initial approach fix and you can't see like the vastly like. So
Yeah, you won't be able to. I mean, this one is. A lot of these initial approach fixes are like 30 miles away from the airport.
So is there something that's in the aircraft that shows, that indicates what our glide slope angle is? Or do we use that based off our?
Not necessarily. There will be on the plate.
You just trim the plate out to the energy indicator and get it close enough.
I mean, you can calculate your glide slope angle, your ground speed and.
What's the calculation?
I don't know exactly, but I mean, it gives you the table. A lot of the chart, so you can use your ground speed and your.
Ground speed
your,
divided by 60, what, 5 feet, bro?
So if you're coming in at 70 knots at 3 degrees. That's what
Yeah, so 70, so say 90 knots, your ground speed is 90 knots, your descent rate should be 470. Yeah. Which I think
Maybe 10 to 32.
Yeah, for the step downs until you.
there's
Reach
nothing that
final
says
approach
you're descending at 3 degrees.
Okay. Yeah. And then whenever it's not 3 degrees, like for the localizer and Gillespie, non-precision approach, because they can't guarantee the vertical obstruction clearance. It's actually quite large. That descent degree is. I can look it up. When you're actually doing it, your ears will pop. They'll be ripping down at 700 feet per minute. Let's see.
Straight in the localizer.
Straight in the localizer, Lexi. Do you know the descending low? I'm looking at that. Yeah, Izzy had her check ride yesterday, and the DP examiner came out of the room to go home, and he was still popping his ears. John already, and I was like, oh man.
Did they not servo line?
It was a single engine approach, and it's because of the descent from 2,700 to 15 before the missed approach fix. Let me bring it up so that you guys all follow. All right, here's the descent angle, 6.88 degrees. So you will all become really familiar with this, and I'll give this a brief, right? So today we'll be flying the localizer into Gillespie localizer Delta, and this plate is valid for using a Jefferson chart today. I have ATIS and we have Delta, information Delta. I am currently talking to SoCal approach, and the localizer frequency is in and identified, right? So I'm pretending I'm in the plane, right? Because why not just make your life easier and check your work after you've done your approach checklist, your NRAMs. Final approach course 269. I'll make sure that's set when we are there. And our final approach fix is Samos 4000. And we'll have an MDA today. This is a localizer non-precision approach. I'm currently at Barrett, and I'm at 5,900. After Barrett, I'll be descending to 4,900 till Zulu, and then I'll be bringing it down to 4,000 at Samos. At Samos, my final approach fix with stable maneuvers and my localizer frequency identified, I will continue with my approach and descend down to Debbie 2,700. So this is the steepest angle, which you'll be at 700 feet per minute. You should carry over between 85 and 90. After Debbie, with the following, all the way down to our MDA. Our MDA today will be 1,500 with stable maneuvers visibility not less than prescribed, which is 1 1/4 statute mile, and the runway environment site. I will go visual and we'll circle the land on runway 27. All right, so that's how I brief the plate, especially in the plane, because I like to just check my work.
So the interim that
Mhm.
that you mentioned,
Mhm.
Aaron mentioned them yesterday, but we never went over them.
Yeah, let's do it. And Michael asked, I just couldn't find where in the slides you guys were, so I'd rather just take this time to go over things that might be a bit confusing to you all. And then during break, I'll call Michael and ask where on the slides you are. So let's go ahead and do that today. So this is going to be an approach checklist. Okay. Just as you guys write the 5 T's on your notebook, you'll likely be setting up the avionics in your plane for an approach when you're in a hold. So you'll be doing your turn time to a subtle top. You'll be reaching and establishing the hold, all while setting up for the approach. Which is why, as instrument pilots, make it as easy as you possibly can and write down this checklist on your knee board as well, because it's a bit longer. So NOTAMs. Check these before you fly. Needles, what does this mean?
Make sure they're correct,
What does that mean?
green or. whichever.
Right, so when would it be a green needle? For example.
Water or
Or approach, good. Anything else?
sitting ground.
Mhm.
Advisor.
Yes, exactly, ILS or localizer approach. Ground-based navigation. What about, when would it be purple?
GPS.
So an autonav. Correct, GPS. Okay. Navigation. Just as you guys will set up on your G5, your flight plan, right? If you want to go from Google SB to Mission Bay VOR, then you want to stay on Victor 23, so you go Dana and other waypoints along that Victor airway. Now you'll have to load the approach. And I'll show you that on the GTN trainer app. Navigation, okay, we're going to do the ILS runway 20 right into Santa Ana today. And I'm going to load that procedure, and then I'm going to check my work on the map, which is on the primary flight display on your aircraft. NOTAMs, needles, there are radio. All right, so I'm talking to SoCal, but next I'm getting ATIS. I'm still holding. I'm on my 1 minute outbound. Okay, now Bravo, let's put in tower for Santa Ana. Right, so RA altimeter. Altimeter is set. I have the ATIS for Santa Ana. ATIS two. Minimums. You plug in your minimums into your aircraft so that you know when you can look for the big 3, right? You're coming down to your minimums. The 3 things you will always say is stable maneuvers. Visibility not less than prescribed on the plate, which today is 1 1/4 statute mile, and then stable maneuvers, or excuse me, runway environment site. Then you can go visual. And missed approach procedure. Today for the missed approach procedure, I will, without the big 3, I will be climbing. I will be circling runway 2 right now. Stand by. Where's the miss? Here it is. Climbing left turn to 3000 direct Mission Bay VOR and I'll hold. And what's the entry for the hold? Come on. Here's Mission Bay VOR. This arrow comes straight out from here, so you can expect it to be right over here.
Wait, can you say that again?
So this arrow here that's on this dotted line is the same as this arrow.
Oh, okay.
So it's they're unable to draw it
It's
to
like
scale.
a teardrop.
Okay. Yeah, so then if we want to check our work, it'd be like this and like this. I agree. Sure. Any questions on that? And it'll be right turns. Okay, so teardrop entry, and we'll hold it today. So you can include that in your briefing. And then missed approach procedure, and you brief that. My recommendation is to do this like 2 or 3 times before approach because things will change. You'll be following headings, radar vectors to final is usually what you'll get. Your radios will change. And your navigation may change, you may have to activate another leg. And then let's go ahead and load it into the GTN trainer app. Alright, so if you do not have this app, this is very helpful, especially if you want to conserve your hours in the plane. The G5 is something that can really benefit you if you know how to use it, but it can also be quite a monster when you're holding, trying to configure an approach and you haven't opened it up in a week. So let's go ahead and press start. Oops, mine failed. What time is it? 48, okay, good. Oh no, that's okay, if mine won't work, we can use Anders. Let's see. Okay, Andrew, do you mind screen sharing my GTN trainer app? I'm gonna delete.
I'm gonna screen share with this thing.
I will show you. So top right corner, slide down, and then you'll press this button, that one. And then you'll choose LQS.
Screen mirror,
Mm-hmm.
smart TV 4K.
Exactly. Yeah, just try it. If it doesn't work, then try another one.
This is the first one, right?
Well, both TV.
Yeah, whichever one is the longest is the one.
Is there a code for it?
Right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the screen, 8518. What other questions?
So here's the trainer app. This is our 650. We press continue.
Diddy's briefing it.
Our databases are expired,
Thank you for saying that.
so. Press continue, we'll do our instrument panel self-test, make sure our LCDI is half left. Our LF, our left flag is out of view, our vertical CDI is half up, our vertical flag is out of view. Our 2 in front is indicating a 2. I don't know what the and no is. No,
Which one?
and none.
Enunciation's on, which
Okay.
is our HSI enunciation. Do you guys know about the HSI enunciation?
No.
Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. I'm happy to bring that up after.
Our OBS is indicating 2 degrees. Our desired track is 150.
Sweet.
Can you?
Okay, we're gonna do let's do the Santa Ana 20 right. So-
Flight plan?
Yep, exactly. And let's enter the clearance limit, which is what? Santa Ana. It's our furthest destination. Santa Ana. Clearance limit is a part of your craft clearance. It's the first C part of craft. And a lot of people just say it's clearance. It's actually clearance limit. Good. Click on John Wayne. All right, load procedure. We're gonna do an approach today. We could also load the departure into our GTN 650
Load boat.
or into our G5. Oh, we'll do the approach. All right.
We can do the ILS, the localizer.
We'll do the first one, the
Oh.
ILS,
Wow, I don't know.
because it has the lowest minimums and the best chance of us to be able to descend and land.
You said the localizer?
Oh, the ILS.
ILS.
Yep. And let's start at the initial approach fix, which will be under transition. And that is going to be, let's start at Seal Beach VOR. We'll take a feeder route.
That's all I.
Yep, exactly. And then always press load, not activate, because you want to be able to configure where you are on the approach. Good. Another approach. Excellent. Now press menu. Sorry, press back. Back one more time. And now press map, top left. Scroll out. Now, when we do this on G5, you'll scroll out on your G3X and you'll see a bigger map with your approach. So keep scrolling out and come up to the north. And you should. Oh, nice. We're in Oregon. That's a bummer.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so it's because we're using
How do I reposition?
the app.
Sure.
How do we direct Gillespie?
Hit the soft key on the right.
Nope, plug in. This is actually really good practice too because we use them a lot. So back, flight plan, and go all the way to the top. And when you go direct, you'll press where you want to go first.
So Gillespie.
And now this is the direct key. It's always going to look like this. So you'll press this, and then you'll activate it. All right. Awesome, now we're at Gillespie. Zoom out, follow that line. Of course, we haven't plugged in our Victor Airways right here, so we'll assume this is a VFR practice.
I think we're still in
We're
order.
still forth it.
Yeah.
Oh, yay, okay.
There has to be a way to, is it in settings maybe?
There is a way to reposition.
Okay, that's okay, we don't want to spend too much time on it, but what you can do is on
Graphically,
G3X,
like,
just check your work. You can try and activate the leg. So go ahead and go back or cancel. I'll teach you how to activate the leg. So back to the flight plan. All right, let's scroll down and let's activate the first leg from Seal Beach VOR to Sagar, our initial approach fix.
this one.
Yep. So click on Sagar. Oh, go ahead, go back. You click on Sagar and then just press activate legs. So let's say that you were given Sling 04 Kilo Hotel, clear direct Sagar. Or no, you were saying you would have to be given follow heading 230 and join the approach intercept, and you would be intercepting the leg between Seal Beach and Sagar. If you were clear direct Sagar, then you'd go direct enter. So you just activated the leg, so they are giving you a heading, and you're going to follow that heading until the CDI comes in and you're on that leg of the approach segment. Try and go back and look at the map one more time. Let's see if that helps.
So I figured out the reposition. So go back,
Go back one more time.
Yeah. go to hit demo,
Demo.
and then waypoint.
Oh, nice. Here we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Justin. All right, so does that help? Let's see.
Now shows you coordinates. That's
Yes, okay, cool. Go on up to Santa Ana now that we know where we are. Good.
Oh, do I have to reload the flight plan then?
No, it's still there. Just head up north, which is gonna be scrolling down. Yes, there it is. So that makes sense. We just activated the leg from the VOR to Sagar, and we see that there's also the approach all the way to runway 20 right, and then it also takes us to the missed approach procedure, which is going to be so all you have to do is basically be a zombie and follow your avionics at this point, which is really nice because if you're still holding, you just want headings to be able to understand, okay, everything's plugged in, I just have to follow first my lateral guidance, then my vertical guidance. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's take a break and then we'll talk about HSI enunciations when we get back. And I'm also gonna see where you guys left off on the slides. Any questions on how to configure avionics? It'll become more simple and you'll learn to really love it because
Honestly, I feel like we should spend more time doing that.
Configure it?
Yeah,
Okay, well, why don't we,
That'd
after
be
the
helpful.
break, someone else can, brief the approach and then configure it in the avionics. That sound okay? Andrew, do you wanna do the next briefing for the approach?
sure.
Yeah, you just choose any airport
Okay.
that you want. You could even do your home airport, or maybe if that was uncontrolled, choose a controlled airport nearby.
Okay, Camarillo has one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So tired. But I can't fall asleep if I watch us in security.
Big Brother's always watching.
So,
Where's Michael at? Michael.
Where's Michael? I don't know. I think he's just been working on the multi a lot.
Is he faster multi-gen crew?
She did. Yeah. Yeah, so far.
Congrats on getting hired here, by the way.
What?
Congrats on getting hired here, by the way.
Can't wait till deal.
Maybe.
I need to. My fingernails going off. My little thing, right hand. I just want to rip it off. Your finger. Your middle finger. Yeah. Sorry. So, I just want to rip it off, but like half of it's out and the other half's still like hidden. And I don't know if I pull it out, will the nail not grow back? Back.
You ever lost a fingernail before?
Yeah. Grows like hair, right? It's just gonna look so disgusting. All my fingers are nice and smooth underneath. That one's gonna look all jagged.
No, it'll go back. It's gonna be. It'll hurt if you rip it off before it's ready.
Already hurts every time I accidentally hit it against it.
Wrap it up.
We don't have breath.
Yeah, I guess.
They. I wanna like. Take a sander to my nail so it's like smooth again.
Dude, that sounds hilarious.
Cause like it's the finger that you that's like. Get out of the lift it. You don't even know lift it, but don't lift it. Don't lift it up. But I want it gone. I can just put a Band-Aid over here.
Yeah, sure, I'll tell you.
Here, I shouldn't put up.
It's not.
It's not like dirty or anything on there, probably.
There's like tape or just.
Just probably get rid of it. It's just.
It might just be like some tape, you know.
Thank you, sir. Just here, jeez. What, I hit it against something.
Well, a couple,
Do I want to what?
a couple Band-Aids, in case that one comes off.
Sugar. I didn't do what against there. Two channels. Yeah, it's keeping you awake though.
You sure in the room? Oh. Oh, I have one too.
Oh, not really.
I was like, you should have played with you, smart.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah,
You have a fight like a small.
right, yeah. The and 650 is very intimidating to me.
Mhm.
There's so many things you can do with it. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I haven't cracked the surface on this.
Do you have a trainer?
Uh-huh.
You should play around with it, just selling it, it's just.
I have before, just, and then of course, then my iPad's about to die, so then I forget about it, 'cause then I go in and do something else, so. That's.
Just, like,
You guys go
press
to
one, just
Mhm.
start messing with stuff, it does a lot. Yeah, it was super helpful.
Yeah.
Just get lost in menus and play around with this.
There you
I've
go,
seen it.
that would be, yeah.
That's fun. It's like, format based, yeah, that's what I do.
In here, it's free.
The
Like,
pull up.
making like Nicholas, I'm just gonna dress. Wear this every day. I'm dressed like Shinny right now. Black shorts.
Yeah, dude. I feel like all I see on my.
I've only ever seen him wear it. It was just black shorts and same shirt. Support. What you want. He's got enough of his fiber. Show up to his flights in the gym, and he wouldn't show up to classes. Don't show up, he said when he had it, and when it did happen, show up.
When I'm just here, I like to dress comfortably, put it on, like, and check the height, anything like that, yeah, throw on.
Oh gosh, I need some kicks, like some every day. Like I wish I had some Chuck Converse.
How's work been?
Done.
Done?
It's done.
Really? Are you happy?
The way I went out, no, but yes.
No.
My car wasn't started on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
so I called them in, hey, I didn't make it, but I'll try to.
Mm-hmm.
So they counted me as no, but never show.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up making it because Nick let me use the car.
Oh, wow.
And they sent me a text message after calling it that I might even make it, that due to calling out in my report and it's for else for termination.
Wow.
But I showed up to work to talk to them, and like the manager told me everything's fine. So I still worked that day. I expected to work Tuesday, and I went to work Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
They disengaged my badge, so they tried to scan to security or whatever.
Wow.
So then I talked to security called supervisor, and then I found out that it took me.
Wow.
I can tell me I can still
Watch
watch that.
That's
So
very.
my last day was Tuesday, a week early actually. Crazy. I'm supposed to go there today and pick up all of my, because I was gonna log in, get all my documents and pay stubs and stuff Monday before my last day.
Mm.
Now I have to go give it. And after like, they said I wasn't like, because I waited there because one of my friends gave me a ride because I need to straight to the airport anyway. And I couldn't do it. So I just sat there for the next 4 hours until a friend got off. They could give me a ride. Oh, wow. But and some of my coworkers here there saw me, had seen me before I didn't come in. Then I just saw my coworkers at Target yesterday, actually. And he was like, you talked to me that day. I was like, after not, you must have flyer, I think, all this shit. Wow. Yeah, I said, we're drunk. I said, it's fast. He's like, yeah, and then he showed me a couple of coworkers. Got a shaving cream. And after they like fired me, it's your dicks. Because then not only was
To the manager.
the manager saw it, but not only was it like disappointed, but because I mean like what home to. So like not only were the boys at this point fired me and whatever, then I was one of the leads. So they were only left with 2 leads, all Asians. And like everybody had to do like 10 fights. So, whereas usually they'd be like at least 14, but it's 5.
Yeah.
So they fired me and then they gave everybody a shit ton of film. So we're like,
Was your job like really fast paced and like, okay,
so that's why I thought it was the wow. So it's just the shaving machine everywhere on belt lockers and tugs. How do you WNs, but at the same time they'll get fired.
yeah. Look at those one real quick.
I'm surprised. I was expecting to get fired, but I didn't expect to. I was expecting they wanted to fire me, but I was expecting, because I was showing up, yeah, like that. And it was during a 2-week period, but it was looking for the last 5 minutes. Crazy. So be like, just like what you think too. You go ahead, pick up. Which one is this radio here?
So it's the GTN 650. So we have.
I don't know. Yeah, I think, yeah. It was gonna be with Michael on Monday, and then they switched to early, and now they found out it's with Kelp. So I don't know. These 3 GH. So like, that's the hardest check right now. Yeah. So then I didn't keep on figuring on Sunday. So, but I didn't practice or shoot me on the community. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't really practice the ground at all, bro.
I just think and the thing is too, they want us to know these fucking sling systems. I hate you on
It's like, it is a shop. It's a shop.
I mean, I think I'll be chill if I had a few.
Did you pick those?
Yes, or I finish it.
But yeah.
You don't have the GTX 35 units one.
I got a roast checklist of what to say. One gonna be left for field. Probably only want those like fixed for the.
How was you done with the system?
So GT power. Kelly asked me what the starter ignition system could.
The actual device is
I don't fucking
GTA
know.
650.
Wait, I look at, okay, this was this one,
I actually watched.
So we have a G3X for sure.
What it is,
Yes.
the
And this is
starter system.
the GTN 650.
ECU back is like
Like transport.
turning, it's the battery going on, I think. Yeah, this,
GTN.
then the battery powers the starter spins the engine. And then the lanes kick in and then it starts. Then it gets the ECU like going, and that's what powers it, I think. I don't know.
That's why it gets confusing when we're trying to do.
Hopefully that's a.
And go, okay.
Definition for the show.
I don't know how much sugar to ask.
Yeah, we definitely.
We're gonna do a test too because they know.
There's more.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, this is in this, in the small, for example. Yeah. Yeah, I think even this direction has been.
I think that's
There's something.
Gym before.
Most of that, to be
No.
honest, can be this one.
How do you time to do a gym before class? You have to get a gym and then board them. That's what we did. What? So they haven't cooked. Well, I guess I would, because I don't think like eight.
Okay, sweet what? Airport 2 and that's right.
Music camera.
Hear me out. Okay. So if you can use your iPad to share first the approach. So let's all follow along. He's going to choose an approach that he's qualified to fly as well as gets him down to the lowest altitude and is on the runway with the best wind. What is the identifier?
KCMA.
Kilo, Charlie,
Charlie, Mike,
Alpha.
Alpha. So it's like.
I flew into Camarillo at night for an instrument cross country, not a long one, just a normal one. I went to Van Nuys first thing Camarillo. The approach was kind of interesting. It was called Point Magoo approach.
Yeah, Point Magoo.
I have never had more trouble saying it. They had to correct me like 5 times, and then my instructor turned comms, was like, I can't do this anymore. Anyway, so
Can sometimes be pretty busy. For whatever reason. Also, Van Nuys is also extremely good.
that's my.
Crazy.
I think it was for my 100 nautical mile night, so it was for my instrument or my commercial requirement. It was for my commercial. You have to do 100 nautical mile night and 100 nautical mile day, and then 250 nautical mile as well. So this was my 100 nautical mile night, and you have to land at 2 airports. That's why I landed at Van Nuys and Korea, and then I flew back.
Yeah, I think Van Nuys is like the busiest delta in the world.
Really?
I think it is, yeah.
I would love to, when
Yeah.
a big girl pilot, fly out of a 135 operation in Van Nuys. We had an instructor, Kate, who works at Alexa. She flies out of Van Nuys for, I think she flies a
Med.
What is
medevac, and she flies a King Air.
Is it King
Oh, is it a Pilatus? I am gonna ask her if I can fly up and tour it, if any of you guys are interested in flying up with me.
I am, for sure.
Yeah,
So
we'll just look
for
at
this
y'all.
stupid.
Okay, sweet. So Andrew, choose which runway for the wind and choose what approach you'd like to fly today.
where I'm loading the flight plan first, or?
Not necessarily. Let's first break the plate and then we'll load it because we are not sure what. We don't need to do the en route structure. We just need to do the approach. Because that's just relevant for today.
Let's see. You would do routes, right?
So we're just gonna choose the approach. So instead, what you want to do is pull up the airport identifier page with all the information to the right. See this? Okay, great. There it is. Now, in order to choose what approach you want to fly, first determine the weather because that will determine the runway, right? Because we'll always land into a headwind.
So winds calm,
Okay, great.
visibility, 10 such miles scattered, 1,500.
Okay, good. Winds calm, so we can use any runway. Now we'll choose procedure. One more to the right under
Do
procedure.
26.
Right traffic, runway 26. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so procedure is where we'll determine the approach. And you guys have done departures, obviously, but now we're gonna do an approach. So we'll go all the way to the right.
Difference between arrival and approach.
So an arrival is gonna be like a star, which usually we are unable to fly with just our single engine. But a lot of bigger, faster aircrafts will do that. And then we'll take you from the en route structure to the approach and land when you're up at a flight level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So procedure approach, choose which approach you'd like to fly today. And when you're choosing it, you want the best chances of landing. We'll pretend that the clouds are nice and low. That's not 1,500 scattered.
Okay.
And then all of you as well should be following along and choose what approach you'd like to fly by.
Let's do RNAV Yankee, like 26.
Okay, why did you choose that approach?
It sounded cool.
Okay, but what are the conditions at which we can look at the approach chart and determine how we have the best chance of landing?
That's the approach chart.
At the approach chart, what about the MDA or the DA? That's the point at which you need to be out of the clouds, correct? Because if you reach your MDA or DA and you're still in the clouds, you have to fly the missed approach and you cannot descend and land, right? So what is our MDA or DA for this LNAV? So it would be an MDA.
Bottom right, 620.
620. Okay, so that's pretty low. Let's look at the other approaches. So that was the Yankee. Did you already check the RNAV Zulu?
No.
Okay, so let's check that one.
So what was that? RNAV Zulu. DA is 345. Do you wanna use the?
Or it would be, we're category alpha, so we'll be on the bottom left. And so we'll be able to use 327.
Okay. Wait,
And
why are
then
we
we'll also
category?
say that we have a local altimeter setting. Instead of just Oxnard.
Why is it set up like that? Why is it
Because
split?
if this airport is unable, let's say it's not open.
Mhm.
So the ATIS and the AWAS, you cannot get an altimeter setting. You'll use Oxnards, but because the altimeter setting, whenever you check, you twist it, it will adjust your altitude, right? Because if it's 299 or 2, you twist it and it'll be a different altitude. They want to make sure that that buffer will still provide you enough room to descend and land. Therefore, they have to increase the MDA. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay, so let's say you're at Oxnard's altimeter setting and it was 30.00. So Oxnard is far away. Let's say that the airport is closed and the altimeter setting, and you can't get this, is 29902. With Oxnard's altimeter setting, your altitude is not going to be accurate when you fly over this airport. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that alternative altimeter setting, because it is not as accurate, their DA
More feet.
or MDA is going to be higher.
You get more buffer, right?
More of a buffer, exactly, for safety. Okay, so that's pretty low. What about the next approach?
They have the VOR for runway 26.
Okay. And what's those minimums? $1,100, pretty high. So which approach do we have the best chance of landing?
The Zulu.
Okay, great. All right. When you're ready, you can brief the RNAV Zulu.
Is that how you would go about like choosing which approach? Because sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, which one do I pick?
That's exactly how you want to go.
Okay.
And let's say you're diverting.
Yeah.
You already did the math, you already know what kind of approach you're going to. All of a sudden, you can't get below the clouds. You try and fly this, you're 327 feet above the ground, and you look outside, the runway environment is not in sight. Visibility is bad. It's 0 statute miles instead of 3/4 statute miles, what's prescribed. So you initiate the missed approach procedure and you're holding somewhere and you have to divert. Okay, where are you going? So in that hold, you'll determine where are the winds, where's the closest airport that has an approach procedure, and then what are the minimum, so that you have a better chance to get down and land.
Also consider looking on board, so say you're not flying sling, so RNAV Zulu is an LPV,
Mm-hmm.
Yankees,
Mm-hmm. Really good point. The equipment on board. Sometimes we're not equipped to fly down.
So
Let's say that your databases are not current, your GPS databases. You have to choose the VOR.
So is that like the first two things that you're gonna look at is like which one can get me down the lowest and do I have the equipment?
Mm-hmm. And then also like what airports around me I can use. Because if it's an uncontrolled airport, it's very unlikely I'm gonna go try and shoot an approach there because I don't have services. Versus if tower is open and they can assist me and it's really low clouds, I'm gonna feel like I have a little bit more of a safety buffer and I could be like, hey tower, what's the cloud heights right now? Or I can listen to the ATIS and determine whether or not I can actually get below that. So yeah. And why don't after you brief it, we'll find a good alternate. Okay, go ahead.
Zulu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what were you saying about the RNAV? These things don't have RNAV?
No, so the RNAV Zulu is an LPV,
Okay.
so it means you have to have loss to be able to fly that. RNAV Yankee is an LNAV approach, so you don't have to have loss, so some airplanes don't have loss.
Right. Okay.
We do.
Yeah.
But like,
So we could fly both. Okay,
So yeah, we could fly any of the armed approaches. We're pretty lucky, we have nice avionics, a lot of. They have a basic GPS and you have to fly the.
Does the aircraft that you've been flying have both brave and WAS?
It's not lost.
It's non-WAS.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would mean
But you have to fly it.
that you have to fly the brave flight as minimum. Do you agree with this chart?
Yes, I'd have to fly the LNAV in the commander or the field.
So his line of minima are increased by 600 feet. That's like,
It's a lot.
that's significant. Yeah, if you're going on a cross-country flight in the winter, and you're gonna plan on landing at the coast, you better have an alternate that's east, just in case the fog bank doesn't burn off.
I'm thinking about flying to Monterey in like a month, but I don't think it's gonna be.
Try and come.
Maybe.
That's awesome.
It should be like over like water into the airport and just like food.
Yeah, we are really blessed to have the avionics suite we have. Anyway.
Like you could be IFR certified without GPS and just have to fly ILSs and VORs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good news about an ILS. It's a precision approach. It's going to get you down pretty low, but you just have to find an airport with an ILS. That ground-based navigation, as long as you have it aboard. Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
Mhm.
Cause LPV and LNAV, VNAV, they both use WAS, and they both have the approved guidance. What's like the difference?
Okay, so localizer performance is going to use a localizer versus LNAV VNAV uses area navigation, which is GPS.
Wait, so the LPV is using the localizer?
Yes, and it's also using LOS.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? Sorry, say.
So LPV is still GPS.
Okay.
Just it mimics the localizer, so there isn't actually a localizer on the field.
So it's mimicking the localizer. It doesn't actually use the localizer.
Correct.
So
So as you get closer to the airport, it becomes more sensitive about the localizer.
like it would. Okay, so then what would you be configuring in your avionics? You would just be configuring the GPS.
Correct.
You wouldn't be configuring a localizer
Correct.
frequency, even though it's called localizer performance.
Correct. So it's
So it's like flying purple needles.
So purple needles.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
only a localizer or an ILS uses readings.
Correct, and that's why it would be lost. Okay, thank you for.
But so does the LNAV like not do that? Like, so it's not gonna get more sensitive as you get closer? Correct. Okay. Makes sense.
Okay.
And then LNAV uses a barrel altimeter, which we don't have.
Yes, but we could still fly LNAV VNAVs.
Can we? Okay.
Yeah, so because we have GPS, we can still bring an LNAV VNAV down to the ground. You've probably done this with. Let's see where is.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Let's.
so then we can
Well, no.
technically fly any single one of these approaches, right?
Not.
We can.
There's one that I think.
Procedure
I
approach.
think it's.
No, but that's what she was just saying.
Oh, that's
for that, you need the barrel. Variated altimeter, but she was.
I'm pretty sure it's a barrel you can.
Yeah, so you can use it with GPS or the barrel altimeter, which we don't have.
So
I think just
all
LNAV.
of
If it's just LNAV.
approaches with nav and GPS based.
So I'm looking back at.
Approaches that have nav and then LNAV are that all those are those GPS based approaches.
Okay, so an example is on RNAV Yankee 20 right for Santa Ana. You can do the LNAV VNAV if you don't have WAS aboard your aircraft, which is one minimum line higher. Or excuse me, you would have WAS, but you would. So I'm curious if you have WAS and you can't get your LPV, Justin, do you mind pulling up the RNAV Yankee 20 right? Because that was a really good point that Cannoli made. So let's confirm. Let's say for Santa Ana. And then we'll go into the Camarillo approach.
Notifications now.
We're gonna do for just a question here. RNAV Yankee runway 20 right. Okay, so there's an LPV, which is WAS.
Correct.
LNAV VNAV, which is also WAS. So at what point would you have to fly the LNAV VNAV only when your enunciation shows LNAV VNAV, not LPV, correct?
I believe so.
It would just be your enunciation that changes, which shows that
But do we
something
like
about the
choose the
environment.
enunciation?
What?
Or do we choose the enunciation or does it, you just plug it in and it'll give us one of them?
Mhm. Let me see if I can, these are all really good questions, so just stand by, Andrew, we'll get back to, I'm just gonna go into a photo, here we go. I'm gonna take the screen share with you guys. So,
So like,
you're,
when I fly the RNAV 170 plus V, I always get LNAV plus V enunciation. I either get the localist or get the LP enunciation. I don't know why it is.
it's a good question, but
think it's just,
that could also have to do with what's on the approach plate.
Well, it shows LP.
Does it offer both?
It offers both.
you like in this area where it'll say like OPS or
But
something.
you don't get to select which enunciation you get. They have,
or LNAV.
and they're almost the same. Like, but I never, you don't get paid. It's always comes up LNAV plus V.
That's like what tells you your minimums, so.
Yeah, you don't get to pay it, so that's what's coming up as.
Minimums, this is,
That's.
VNAV, then you fly the.
Those are the dose.
Oh, so you don't choose
The
that.
RNAV doesn't choose.
Or not one charge pay.
RNAV.
Stand by.
But I'm guessing what it is like certain airports, like, don't have LPV, they only have like LNAV.
Like I briefed
Hmm.
the LP.
Which I always.
Fly the LP line of minimum
Whatever.
But the enunciation was.
is always L,
Or like the-
LNAV plus V. I'm
Yeah.
curious as to.
Yeah. I don't know why.
That's a great question for Aaron and Michael and all that. So this
But
is
that's what,
the question. When he's flying the approach, and this is the localizer Delta RNAV 17, he is using the 1360 line of minima, but what we see in our enunciation is 1380. Or excuse me, is LNAV plus V.
The enunciations, you never went over that, the enunciations are those, the, like OBS.
Here, exactly. So here is a photo of an HSI, right? What is the enunciation?
Localizer.
Okay, so if we're flying an ILS or a localizer approach, you're gonna see the localizer enunciation because there's no ILS enunciation. Justin, do you agree with that?
I'm not sure.
That's okay. So that was, so now let's look at a different enunciation.
So you said if we're flying the ILS, it'll have a.
We'll just have a localizer, and the reason why is what you're plugging into your avionics is the localizer frequency.
Hmm.
Now your avionics are smart enough to give you that vertical and lateral guidance, but it wants to alert you on the HSI localizer because the identifier, the frequency is identified for that localizer. So now let's look at what would happen if instead you were flying an RNAV. So that, so the enunciation, if you're flying an RNAV, I don't want to spend too much time looking through photos, could be. It would be LNAV plus V. It would be, I have a full list here, so I just want to say it right the first time. Here we go, RNAV, LNAV, VNAV, RNP, and then LPV, LNAV, VNAV is what I have. Do you agree with that list for enunciations?
Did you say you could say VNAV or LNAV?
LNAV and LNAV, VNAV. What's the difference between the two?
One's that look at vertical.
One has approved vertical guidance versus one does not. Now you might see LNAV plus V. I think we're getting into the weeds here. We're gonna stay on topic about listening because enunciations are a whole lesson. But what we're doing as pilots is clarifying that what we're programming into our G5 is actually what we're flying. So for example, if I'm flying an ILS, I want to make sure the enunciation localizer, after I've plugged in the frequency and it's identified, is showing. If I'm flying an RNAV, I want to make sure the enunciation LNAV, VNAV is in my HSI, and that's what I'm flying. It's a way to check your work. Okay,
Which is like our GPS and then LMAP.
okay, see, let's go back and brief this plate. And then I will ask either Aaron or Michael about that question, because I do use that line of minimum, but the enunciation looks different. Yeah, very interesting.
So Aaron copied on that in the SIP.
This one. So
Say again?
Aaron copied that in the SIP. I briefed
Would it
the
be
lower
the
last
same?
name. He's like,
It will, I think it will be talking, yeah.
Okay, so he wanted you to use the higher line of minima,
Cause I don't say.
and it was LP versus LNAV was the two? Okay, interesting. Okay,
Would you ever have two different enunciations? Like, no, it would only ever be one.
no, it will only be one, so if something is out and the enunciation is different, let's say you're coming in for an RNAV and you are briefing LNAV VNAV, approved vertical guidance. But then when you plug in your GPS, everything, all your NRAMs are configured and done. You look at your HSI and all you see is LNAV. What do you do?
All you have is LNAV,
Mm-hmm.
so that's just lateral guidance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Approved lateral guidance, right?
Just approved lateral guidance, so you no longer have approved vertical guidance.
Then you can't fly the approach, right?
You have to change your line of minima to meet whatever that is. And then you would have to use step downs instead of the glide slope. Does that make sense? And that's why in a lot of approaches, instead on top of the glide slope, you'll also see step downs at which you're leveling out at altitudes, getting low.
Are you pulling out plates while you're flying?
Am I pulling up and briefing and then
No, like
configure?
if you do have to change that, you pull up the next bit.
Yeah. So what we're
While
doing
you're flying.
here, and we're configuring, looking at his surroundings for Camarillo, seeing what airport has approaches, one is controlled tower, one is far enough away so he can actually get under the clouds, descend and land. I would be doing all this in the missed approach procedure. Technically, probably in a hold.
What would you do if you ever lost one of those? Like, let's say you had the localizer in, and for whatever reason, you lose that enunciation. Do you have to go missed, or do you have to just reset?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. If you are past the final approach fix, you would go missed by the missed approach procedure. Even if if you're flying the localizer and there's an RNAV available at that airport and you have the capability to fly that in a plane, you would go missed and in the hole just reconfigure the avionics for the RNAV.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you do have the wrong line set, then you could just land, right?
Yeah, you can always do visual approach. Let's say the clouds are nice and high. You could just let ATC know of the runway in sight, and they'll even clear you for a visual approach, which means you have to stay 1,000 feet, 3 statute miles visibility. That's the requirement. So if it's less than that, let's say it's still a little hazy, they won't clear you for a visual approach. Okay, so we're talking about a few different concepts here. Let's go back and let's stay on point for briefing this approach, and then we're going to go into what would be a good alternate. I know you guys have more questions on enunciation. I'm happy to answer, but I think we should do a lesson on the what, why, and how for enunciation, and then we can talk about specific times at which we would reconfigure our aircraft if we had a loss of integrity, for example, right? Which is kind of what Andrew's saying. Maybe the enunciation that we had is now gone. Okay, all right. So if you don't mind carrying the screen again.
Did it just cut?
I took it away.
Oh.
I connected mine and it overrides because I was showing an example.
So here's the RNAV Zulu for runway 26 at Camarillo. ATIS frequency 126.025. So with jet charts, you always want to read left to right, top to bottom. And it goes in sequential order. So we're going to want to get our weather before we get there, right? Then we're going to want to contact Magoo on 124.7. And if approach is inoperative, we're going to want to contact Los Angeles Center. 135.5. I forgot what the R means though. It's not runway lighting. It is, or it's not receive, right?
No.
It is, what is the R again?
Radar.
Equipment do approach radar. Yeah, I believe it would be radar, so they have to.
I don't know why I always think it's receive. Every time I read that.
That's the delete one.
Yeah, I would assume it's radar.
Radar.
Yeah. So that maybe that you would have to have an ADSB out in this case.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Especially around this place. Camarillo Tower. CTAF is 128.2. Ground is 121.8. Is there also a reason why there's a star next to Point Magoo, Camarillo, and ground at the start of it?
Here by the control
Yeah.
tower. I assume that's because it's not attended continuously. That it's special hours. Maybe it's like 9 a.m. or 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we can look it up in the charts.
And then WASP, CH58202. I don't know what CH means. Or W26 Alpha, Whiskey 26 Alpha.
Say that again.
In the briefing step,
Okay.
so WASP, Charlie Hotel 58202, Whiskey 26 Alpha.
Are you talking about in here?
Oh, is it just the channel? Channel 58202. No,
No.
above left. Left.
Oh, yeah, that's just gonna be for the technology. I don't think you need to know how to find that. We don't have the capability to put channels into our avionics. I don't know anything more about that.
Oh well. And then final approach course is heading 257. Hokiv 2,800, 2,723 for AGL. Where is it at? Hokiv kind of ran in the middle.
Okay, I have answers here. Okay, so scroll up.
Oh.
Just a slight pause. Starting with
The star.
the star.
Hmm.
Starting with the R, then we'll go to the star. Okay, that means it is not located at the airport. It's a remote facility, which makes sense because SoCal Approach is not at the airport. Okay. Then,
Yeah, wait.
Because we
I
were
thought it was
told that
radar.
means that they have radar. So that,
so they do, but it also is saying here that remote transmitter receiver. So the remote transmitter receiver, the radar, is not located at the airport itself, but rather at a remote site. So it is the radar, but it's not at the airport, and it's a remote site, which means when you're talking to SoCal, they have the radar equipment located somewhere else. That's the direct definition. It's not too important that we know that. That's just what it's saying. Then, so any questions on that? Okay, that's all really. And then, okay, star, part-time only. It's not attended continuous. And it says that in the chart supplement, if you have any questions on that. Finally is WAS. Okay, so this box, I have never needed to know what it means, but because the equipment of WASP has a ground-based components like we know, this is the information about it. The channel at which the ground-based equipment is 58202, but the W26A means that, let me just look up the exact identifier, is active surface to 10,000 and to use caution. It's just a equipment and that they want to let us know that 26A is surface to 10,000. Just the equipment there. Okay, go ahead. I like your questions. Making me think. And do research.
Hokiv is, our final approach point, right?
Okay,
Right?
final approach
point
fix.
Or fix.
Fix.
Final approach fix.
Mm-hmm.
Final approach course is 257. LPV, decision altitude H. What does the H mean in parentheses?
So our decision altitude versus our decision height is gonna differentiate MSL, what's on our altimeter, to the height above the ground. So if you scroll down to the bottom, what is 327?
MSL, and then 250 is AGL.
So 327 decision altitude, and then 250 decision height in AGL.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Continue.
Parentheses conditional.
Okay, what does that mean?
Is that also why it's split down here? The conditional.
Yep. On what condition then?
So if we have with local altimeter setting, we're gonna use 327. If we don't have local altimeter setting, we're gonna use 10.
Exactly.
Okay. Apparent elevation 77 feet, touchdown zone elevation 77 feet. Missed approach, climb to 3,000 direct, bang, and via 253 track to halty and hold. So we have our missed approach in that little top left corner of the map, right?
Yep. So what's gonna be the hold entry?
Parallel problem?
I agree.
Or, yeah, right, parallel, right?
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
The halty and fold altimeter set in inches, transition level, flight level 180, transition altitude 18,000. One, use local altimeter setting. If not received, use Oxnard altimeter setting. 2, DME/DME RNP. What does RNP stand for?
Radar or
RNP minus 0.30, not authorized.
it's a type of a approach, but we don't have its performance radar. We don't have it aboard our aircraft, and we had a UPS pilot come and speak to us, and he explained it in a way that it's even better than GPS and WAS.
And why wouldn't it be authorized?
Why is it not an aircraft? It's like a new technology.
Oh.
Required navigation performance and yeah, so the technology, it differs from our nav approaches. It is non-precision. We are incapable of flying this, and it requires that your aircraft must be capable of staying within 0.3 nautical miles, of course, 95% of the time. It's just different technology than what we have. Do you have any more information on RMP? Alright.
I was just reading the same thing.
Yeah, so the UPS pilot that came and spoke to us last year, Kimberly Romero's dad, he was talking about how it's like the next GPS. It's even more accurate, so it's kind of like 15 years ago when we were like, what? We can use We can use GPS on our phones. What is this? Now we're like looking at what is RMP? Just the future. Okay. Continue.
3, WASP VNAV outages may occur daily. Okay.
Yeah, so what would a loss NOTAM look like?
I don't know. Would you just read the NOTAMs and it would tell you?
Yeah, and it would say W dash, and then it would give you a number.
This is a loss, being had note of service is not related.
Okay.
So there's no.
Have you ever seen that fine? I saw a GPS NOTAM now, and I was like, whoa, but I've never seen a loss.
Yeah, that's why we check. So we do a loss check.
That's why we do a loss check. Yep. Yeah. Okay, continue.
So we wouldn't have lost that, right? Fine.
Well, if there was a notice that it was out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they would turn it off. Oh, actually, I do.
WASP VNAV NOTAM service is not provided, so they're not gonna announce it.
And not really, we have to do a loss check.
We have to do a loss check. That's interesting.
No, would you have to do a WASP check once you're there too? Like just double check it? Like, cause we might have it over here, right?
You can always double check as you fly. Yeah, I mean, why not? You can see the satellites if capable when you do a loss check in your plane.
Wouldn't it not give you a lost approach then though? Cause like.
If there was
after
a-
enunciation, it'll just be like,
And or your enunciation would just be wrong, right? So
okay,
Well, this is a loss approach. This whole plane is a loss.
how lost approach.
so then you would get loss of integrity too. Yeah, so then you would just go missed and then configure a different approach, or if you didn't have the capability to land there, you would just go somewhere else.
So like, if I was gonna fly this approach, I would do a loss check close to the airport before I committed to that.
That's a really good point. Excellent. Okay.
And then when we look at the map, 1 procedure not authorized for arrivals at CESP via Victor 186 to 59 or 7 westbound. 2 procedure not authorized for arrivals at Suwana via Victor 326 eastbound.
So where is that?
At the CESP is at the north and Suwana's to the east. Those fixes.
So can we enter if we're coming from Gillespie?
Well, we would enter it from Sadie probably, right?
But where's Victor westbound? Where are these Victor Airways? Let's pull up the IFR load chart and look and see if we can just eyeball it. So if we're coming from the south, where's Victor? And you can even show the clockwise of which. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Okay, good. One more. All right, so Victor 326, that was the first one. I think it would be westbound, so it would be traveling west to east. So let's scroll a little bit to the right.
Victor 326 is right here.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so it's unauthorized. Go ahead and go back to place bottom left. Let's read it one more time. All right, procedure not authorized first to be via Victor 186 to Victor 596 westbound, so going to
597 also.
597, excuse me. So let's go back to 186 to 597. Here it is westbound. So if you're coming here and you want to join the initial approach fix, we don't have the approach program, so why don't we go ahead and do that? Procedures, top right.
This is it right here. 186 597, right?
Okay, yep. So then the way to see where the initial approach fix on your map is you can press procedure up here. And then let's press approach. And then we'll put in I believe it's runway 26 Zulu. And if we are coming from the south, we would be arriving via Sadi, correct?
Yeah.
So let's choose that.
What do you mean?
Or that's not the initial though, so we'd go Sadi to KTIC. So we can go Sadi for now, and then we can add it to our route. All right, good. It's gonna bring up a plate here. So here we are coming from the south. We're on some type of Victor airway. We can expect, go ahead and close this, press flight plan. And then click on the map once. And then press hide plate. All right, good. So we can expect that we're coming in from Santa Monica VOR on Victor 299. So that's the way we're entering. Therefore, is this procedure authorized? So let's go back to the plate. So we're not going to be on that Victor airway 186. So that's not applicable. Not authorized for arrivals on Victor 326 eastbound. So let's go back to our map. Eastbound Victor 326. Maps Victor 326 we said is 26.
Yeah, the red.
26. Eastbound. Looking for it.
It's the other red line, yeah.
There we go. Eastbound. So if you're coming from the north and you're going southeastbound on this Victor airway, you are unable after you get to Gianna to join to the initial approach fix, which is not Jurex but lower.
I wonder if that's because Fillmore VOR is out of service, and that's always out of service.
I don't know if it would be that, but likely it would be terrain or aircrafts approaching. And you said there was a really popular airport Van Nuys. So maybe some aircrafts are on final approach right through that segment. They just don't want us doing a procedure turn and then entering.
Why would they even have it on the approach like that? Why not just like leave it out entirely?
Sepe initial approach. Well, so if you're coming from, instead of coming from, so this would encompass this. Okay, so 362 east. They would have it on the approach plate if you were coming from a different direction. There's nothing saying that you can't come from the north or from the south going north. There's just limitations if you're going 326, which I believe was down here east. So it would be before CESPay, and let's go ahead and go one more time to maps. And let's confirm where CESPay is, so scroll out.
It's right here.
Okay. So you can join if you're coming from CESPay, but not if you're here on 326. So maybe there's a mountain right there. And they don't want you to go from here to here. Maybe there's some approaches coming into Van Nuys. Either way, if you're coming eastbound 326, which really that looks like it's southeastbound, but I don't know the reason why. Here's also 326. Okay, so this is probably the one that they were talking about. If you're arriving via Victor 326 eastbound, they do not want you to be joining this approach. Something about this flight path. Instead, if you were at a VOR or a fix over on the south, you could either come from the south, so you would just lengthen your time en route, take another Victor airway, and then come from the south up to the initial approach fix. That's a way around it, right? I don't know if there's a mountain. I don't know if there's other planes coming to an approach. Okay, go ahead and let's finish briefing the plate, Andrew.
Went through the map, right? So we're gonna join from Sadie then, right? To Kitek to Jurex.
Exactly. Because we're coming from the south, so it is allowed.
And then it looks like we're gonna have step downs, right? Until we tune into the localizer.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be at 4,000 feet at Jurex, right? And then we're gonna be on 257, right? And then we're gonna drop, well, after we pass Jurex, we're gonna drop down and descend to 3,300. And then our next point is Osesi. And then at Osesi, we're gonna be 11 miles out, right? And then we're gonna drop down and descend to 2,800. And then we'll be at Hokiv. And from Hokiv, we should be able to tune into the localizer, right?
When?
At Hokiv.
At 2,800.
Hokiv at 2,800, we should be able to tune into the lookalike.
at the altitude.
Okay,
A lot of people will mistakenly say at our final approach fix Hokiv, we can now follow the vertical guidance down to the 7 lane. It's actually at the
Oh, so-
altitude 2,800, at which once we have the the glide slope centered, localizer frequency's already been identified, right?
Mhm.
Then we can follow it down.
So if we were at like, for whatever reason, we were at 3,500, we would not be able to get the same signal, right?
You would likely, well, so there's this brings up some limitations. If you're at 3,500, you may get a glide slope. However, you cannot legally follow it until your altitude of 2,800. Now, let's talk about false glide slope, which is one limitation of this guidance. So if you have false glide slope, it's because of the frequency of signal. So there's different megahertz of signals that are sent from the equipment. The reason why they're different and numbers that are feeding out from the ground-based equipment are different is because if you're closer to the higher number of megahertz, and I don't know that by heart, then your glide path is going to show you as high. If you're closer to the lower, and I think of these almost as like light signals traveling to your aircraft. You have green on top and red on bottom. If you're in the green, you're going to show that you're high. If you're red, you're going to show you're low, and that's how I like to visually see this equipment working. And it's actually wavelengths, frequencies. Okay, so false glide slope. Let's say that you're at an altitude like 3,500, and your glide slope is showing that you need to descend at over 1,000 feet per minute in order to get to the point at which you can accept the vertical guidance. That is called a false glide slope. And that can happen. Now, as competent pilots, you might be before OSESI and you're, well, I can't even follow it anyway. And I know that I'm at 3,300, so I know I'm safe and that I'm not gonna shoot my nose down at 200 feet per minute, and that I'm getting a false glide slope. Yeah, it's just one of the limitations. Right.
TCH, 48 feet, that is our, what does TCH stand for?
Okay, so let's think about this. What is this? TDZE.
Touchdown zone elevation.
Okay,
So is that just our touchdown?
that's the touchdown zone elevation. What do you think is this then?
Touchdown?
Height.
Height.
Yeah, just because airport differences are.
It's the threshold crossing height.
Yeah. Oh, threshold. Okay, so.
Following that glide slope here, cross the threshold at 48.
And that's the beginning of the runway. Threshold. Correct. Okay. Threshold.
Oh, that's right, 'cause it's an upslope runway slightly, right?
No, it just means if you're following the glide slope down, you're not, it's not gonna push you, it's not gonna have you land right at the threshold.
Yeah, it'll be
You're
a
gonna
1,000 footers,
coming
right?
down the runway.
But those 1,000 footers are a different elevation than,
No. No, so your touchdown zone elevation is 77 feet. So
okay,
that touchdown zone is at 77.
okay,
So you're gonna cross the threshold back here at 48 feet above the ground.
okay,
So it's a height versus elevation.
okay, gotcha.
So when would you use that in the plane?
It's just saying you're gonna be like 48 feet above the threshold when you cross. So if you have like a radio altimeter,
Okay.
like jets have like radar altimeter, tells you your height above the ground. So you use it then.
Okay.
It's not really that important. I wouldn't agree.
I wouldn't either. Touchdown zone. Oh, touchdown zone elevation versus
Threshold cross.
threshold crossing height. Yeah, so I've never briefed that in the plate either, which is why I wasn't proficient in it, which
Yeah,
is
it's
okay.
it's not that important. So that's just saying like you're gonna cross the very end of the runway at 48 feet above the ground. So 48 feet above that 77.
Okay, good. Okay, and then let's finish up. Briefing it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I just said it should already be visual at that point, so it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not, you would have to go in.
Vang, direct. 3,000. Oh, is this for the mist? This is for the mist, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
so,
if we had to go mist, we would
Uh-huh.
go to Vang, direct, climate 3,000. REIL, happy, like,
So go left and right.
yeah, so start from the left, and they do say the words up there for the missed approach, but this is a really good point, this is here to help you. So what is REIL?
Lighting,
Runway and identifier light.
yeah.
Which in this case is a happy, which is on the left hand side of the runway. So if you go miss, what will you do, left to right?
Climate 3,000, then go direct to Vang.
Cool. And then hold this publish.
Okay.
Alright, good.
I'll do that.
Alright.
And then we have our little ground speed chart, right? So if we're
We'll be at
going 90, if we would have a glide path, a 3-degree glide path at 478 feet per minute, right?
exactly.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy that they just said that 800 feet per minute if you're at 160.
Straight in landing from 66, this is where we have our option, right, depending on 2 different scenarios.
Yeah.
And then the 3/4 is just visibility, right?
Yeah, 3/4 statue map.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the distance from the cockpit out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for sitting with me. I don't teach the instrument class a lot, so obviously as a pilot you can always look things up. And yeah, I hope you guys are able to learn something. Like we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ellie.
Yeah. Thank you for your assistance, Justin. I pulled the slides to review what you're doing today, and I realized that I had no idea what you guys were on. So I tried not to wing it. I tried to know everything, but I always look it up if I don't. Just
I've only been here like 2 days.
yeah, well, you're doing good. I hope you have a good move down here with your family.
Yeah.
I'm excited that all of you are coming down. I'm excited to see you more often here.
Sure, it'll be a few months. Be like senior instructor when I get back.
You're gonna do what?
It'll be a few months. I have to rent my house out and I kind of fence some stuff out.
Nice.
So
Okay.
it'll be probably like end of the year before I'm back.
Do you own up in Seattle?
Yeah,
Are you gonna flip it or are you gonna rent it out?
I'm gonna rent it out.
Good.
So my interest rate is so good, it doesn't make sense to try to sell it.
Oh, that's great news.
So
Good for you.
I have to. Got a house and a big yard and yard tools and all kinds of stuff. I have to like. Basically, to rent it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Downsizing sucks, but welcome to California.
yeah, so that's gonna take some time, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And there's plans put to like the end of the year, so she can't be all that.
Yeah, just rent a huge trailer or like just
That's fine, like or something.
to find a way.
But it's not 80 or something.
Yeah. Or you could build one. Do you know in San Diego County they're offering low interest rates and government incentives for if you want to build an ADU right now because there is a housing crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you might be able to
I
swing something.
have to own the property though.
You have it on yours right now.
No, I would have to own the property down here.
You would, yeah.
I can't lose my house.
Yeah, I know. I mean, in Southern California. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well.
You know, I was thinking I want to put in my calendar that event. You were talking about some event or something.
Okay, early October, they don't have a date for it yet.
Oh, okay.
Mission flight's usually a few, like a week or two out where they will, set events off. It did not take a break after that round. I did both ground school, which was very fun, but like at some point I was like, what possible?
Yeah.
It's okay, we'll take a little bit of a longer break during. Alright.
So, Alan,
What's up, Michael? How you doing?
good, how are you?
Doing well.
Hey, so I have a confession to make.
What?
I have a confession to make.
Oh.
So I peeked at the week 4 quiz. As in,
What? At the what?
the week 4 quiz in PowerPoint, I peeked at it as in like, I looked at all the questions, but I didn't submit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I used to make questions.
Okay.
Just one's never really helps. I like use slides or times.
For the actual, like,
Before after doesn't matter. It just shows that you.
just make sure you want to know for sure.
Yeah, it's already feels already particular
For sure.
It's actually not what that sort of keeps that, or in fact, that just shows that that you want to.
For sure.
If anything, that's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it's good. Alright.
That feels so well.
Doesn't even. Which one are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the next class.
Yeah, you gotta find that.
Yeah, I was studying last night and I was like, all right, I've looked at these PowerPoints like in and out like 20,000 times, like, and then I'm just sitting there and it's like, well, I guess I'll just look.
Schedule your rent.
I have not yet, but I registered on the PSI like you said though.
Okay. Simply for like early October.
So do you have a preference on location with your experience?
It doesn't matter. Just go to whatever location. There's not. People say Morehouse is strict. Just it's close. Just get it done.
Well, I heard at Morehouse they make you take off your shoes.
Take off your shoes, but they make you pull up your pant legs. So it'll make you do this.
Okay.
It's like who wants to drive up to Pinnacle Aviation 7 times in their career? We have to take exams so much.
Wait, but Pinnacle's in Carlsbad though.
Yeah, it's over in Carlsbad at Palomar. So that's the other location is Pinnacle. I like Morehouse. I mean, I know they're strict, but like I never had a problem. I just made sure that your ID, like your driver's license, and so if it has like your home address prior to moving here, that's the address that you also register under the PSI for your account, and that they match. Like technically, my address is my parents' address still. So when they ask, I'm like, yeah, that's where I live. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna write a few things on the board before we start. How did yesterday go?
In class?
Yeah, so did you do weather briefing with chat?
Oh, yeah,
Where did you guys do it from and to?
Where did you go? Gosh, where did you go?
They did a flight plan from here to Palm Springs and they kind of did it step by step the entire thing through 4 flight leg.
Okay. Did you also do a weather briefing for it?
Yeah, they were looking at the weather for
Okay.
the flight plan.
Okay, cool. So we've talked about weather for a few days now. Have any of you seen a chart like this? Did Corey cover a chart like this where you went through airmet segments or convective segments? This is what really helped me when I was learning. I made a chart via visibility, turbulence, and icing, and the parameters at which an airmet segment or convective segment will be issued. So we'll start with airmets. How long are airmets into effect, or how long are they issued for? Every X amount of hours. Anyone know?
Airnet.
Yes, an airmet. 6 hours, moment I heard you. Oh, I forgot to take attendance for the instrument ground class. Do that in a second.
Don't forget for us though.
I just got like 2. I just got their ground class too, and I was like, okay, wait, what are we doing right now?
Wait, we're more important than that though.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah,
in
they
2
know how to
seconds.
play.
I will take it, I promise.
Okay, so while I take it, how long are SIGMETs issued for? Someone can look it up in the PHA or the Aviation Weather Handbook. Okay, KSEE IFR. This here, I think. Yay. Start.